What's up, guys? Welcome to the complete intro guide video for the market maker indicator. If you've used it until now, it's just been one singular indicator, but it's packed a punch. It's changed people's trading for the better. So many people have both gotten their first payouts, elevated the consistency of their trading, their win rate, their risk to reward, because they can see what's going on the back end of the market, something you can't do with any other tool or indicator on TradingView. Because this is a first of its kind, the impact has been absolutely insane. Okay, you can look inside the Discord, you can look at the testimonials, whatever you want to do. Don't take it from me. Try it for yourself so you can actually see the results. And when we say it's the first of its kind tool, we mean it. To our knowledge, this has never been done before. You are literally looking at a breakthrough in this space, because through TradingView, they don't support natively order flow data like this. If you're trying to build something using TradingView data, it's just baseline volume. You're not getting any true order flow data. It's very, very limited. So you can't use that to actually build something like this. Through our external systems, we were able to find a way to actually have this information, raw order flow data, simplified for you all on your personal TradingView chart. A lot of people think it's near impossible, which we thought it was as well. But after a lot of the 3 years collectively of development, testing, building, refining, finally has brought us to this point. Okay, I've put well over in the high 5 figures of my own money into the development of this tool. And it's honestly the greatest decision I've ever made, because not only has it refined my own trading, as you can see here, this is what I made in 2025, which is just on one singular personal account. But as you saw earlier in the video, it's helped so many people. And it's always going to run forever. We pay for the costly back end every single month, and it's going to be like that for the rest of forever. I already have a plan in place. Even if I were to pass away or whatever, right? It's going to continue running. I don't want people to worry about that. This is always going to be working, functioning on the back end for you guys to have this powerful information. And a very, very important thing, this is going to work across any market that you trade. If you trade stocks or options or futures, commodities, forex, crypto, it doesn't matter. You will be able to use this. Now, one thing to note, if you're a forex trader, forex is decentralized, right? There's no true order book. So for that, there is a little caveat. We had to reverse engineer footprint data, which is available for forex, to be able to display important data like this. But everything else is from the raw order book. You're able to see this information and have it simplified for you directly on your chart. And even more important, because this is showing you the back end and everything that's going on, all the transactions, all the traders, all the most important information, because it's literally displaying to you how the market's working on the back end. You can use this with any strategy. If you trade ICT, opening range breakout, price action, it doesn't matter. You will be able to use this in some way, shape, or form as an extra confluence to boost your win rate, your risk to reward, and your consistency. So before we go through every single feature from a high level, what can you see? You're going to see buyers and sellers on the order book right here. But because there's liquidity everywhere in the markets, this is going to simplify it for you to the most meaningful, the highest probability areas. And it's going to be a blanket rating system to be able to see how strong an area actually is, how many times orders have been filled within it, which we'll get into in a second as well. On top of that, you're going to be able to see where people are getting stopped out in the market. You don't have to assume based off of a high or low, oh, we rated some stops or whatever, or try to assume. Now you're seeing real information where people are literally getting stopped out in the market to help aid your decision making. Here, as you can see, people were getting stopped out. They typically lead to pullbacks in the market. It's not a buy and sell signal. We'll get into this as well. But you're able to see this to add to your confluence, because now you're seeing liquidity literally be generated for reversals and continuations to even happen as well. You're also going to be able to see participants literally trading within every single candle, where the strongest participants were. You're also going to notice where these trapped buyers are literally at highs, major highs and lows. You're going to see at lows, sellers getting trapped, at highs, buyers getting trapped. This is the key to the markets, literally seeing absorption happening in front of your eyes. You're going to see the difference between active and passive participants, another aid to see absorption happening. You're also going to see, if I can move my camera, you're going to see live transactions happening right before your eyes, where buyers and sellers are actually leading in the market. You're going to get a trade management assistant that's going to help you actually manage your trade, know where to place your TP, your SL. You're going to see where the short-term trend candlestick structure is in the market. This is so powerful. There's so many things that you can use and add as an extra confluence to your strategy. You're also going to see private auctions. You're going to see where big players are hiding their transactions. And this is very deep inside order flow, but you're going to see the why behind the more minuscule moves in the market because of these private auctions. This is something we'll get into as well. But all in all, you're going to see all of this powerful information directly on your personal chart. Like I said, it's taken over 3 years collectively to build, test, refine, and continue to improve. Okay, on the back end, there's 13 different models that we have running across every single market, customized to every single market. We understand that every single market is the same. We understand that not every single session is the same. We understand that things have to be refined differently. You have to use machine learning to constantly improve things. That is all included in this. We've done the heavy legwork in the back end for you. This is going to be a game changer. But without further ado, I want to go over all the updates. This is now a 2 indicator team bundle, if you want to call it. But the team, the results that they produce together it's just absolutely insane. Okay, this is going to give you an inside look into what's going on into the back end of the market. So like I said, this is going to be a complete guide video. This is not going to be a strategy video. I'm going to make separate model videos about all the models that I use to trade this. You want to use this as an added confluence. You don't want to rely on it like it's a buy and sell indicator or like a holy grail, right? You want to be able to know how the market works and use this as extra confluence because you're able to see what's going on in the back end of the market. You're being able to see all the stuff that's required for the market to move because you're seeing that on your chart. This is your edge. When people open up their charts, they can't see this information. Or if they're paying for third-party order flow services, they're paying $200, maybe $300, even more, to see a lot of complex data that a lot of people just give up on before they can even understand it or actually use it to their advantage. So, like I said, this is going to be a complete guide video. Essentially, I'm going to be going over all the settings, all the features, how you can read it, how you can understand it, all the customization that's a part of it, and the power that it truly holds. Okay, if you use this the right way, this is going to be a game changer for you, and your trading is going to exponentially improve. Okay, I don't want you to just take that as face value. I want you to try it for yourself, forward test it, really see it in action in the live markets. And I genuinely am so confident that you're going to see that difference in your trading. So when you load both up, this is what it's going to look like by default. Okay, there's so many customization options that you have, which we'll go over. Excuse me. This is the simplified and just the default view when you open up both. The key is after you claim the indicators and you get it, the key is that you want to go into indicators in the invite only, and it's going to pop up both of them. You add one, you add two. Okay. The first thing you want to do is with indicator 2 in the top left, you want to click these 3 buttons more, click visual order, and click bring to the front. Why is this important? Because TradingView, for whatever reason, by default, puts their candles in front of everything that you overlay, understandably so. But you want to see this important information. So because of that, if it looks hard to see, that's why. You want to go to visual order, bring to front. I already have it set to that, but this is what you want to do to be able to see that information. Okay. That's the first and most important thing that you want to do after setting it up. Okay. And now I've already had it running, right? This is these participants that you're seeing, these bubbles, right? This is live, right? So when you open it up, you're not going to be able to see the past, right? But everything from when you load it up onto the future will stay, and it'll show you all that information. Okay. But I've had it running prior to starting this video, so you can actually see what's going on and the power that it holds. Okay. So I'm going to be showing you by default what pops up, what is displayed when you first add the indicators. I'm going to show you the other view options, and I'm going to show you my personal setup and how I use it every single day. Now, the most important thing that I want you guys to know is that you can claim and have access to these indicators through 2 ways, just by getting the indicator by itself, or it comes free as a free add-on to Limitless Plus. That's full access to the community, to my community, myself and the team. Every single day, we're live trading, using this, explaining this, answering any and all questions, live trading with our live entries, our live exits. You can see us trade in action. You get direct access to myself, the creator, and everything, and all my brain, my knowledge about both the creation, the implementation, the development of this, and how I use it every single day. On top of that, we do Q&As, monthly mentorships. You're going to actually get genuine personal help through Limitless Plus. So if you're that person that's been struggling to kind of understand it, if you already have the indicator, right, I hope this video helps. But with Limitless Plus, that's going to be a game changer. That's going to be in the first link down below this video. Okay, so please take a look at that, consider it. You're welcome to join. If you just want the indicator by itself, if you feel confident that if you're that far along in your trading, you understand how the market works, you're already profitable, you just want to add this as a confluence, cool. You can just get the indicator by itself. But if you're struggling, don't go about it alone. The membership is made for you to cancel. We don't want you here for a million years. If you want to stay, you stay as long as you want, right? But the goal is to turn you profitable, self-sufficient, confident, so you can actually see the back end of the market, you have that edge and you can actually elevate yourself, your trading, and finally reach profitability. So we invite you in there. I hope to see you soon, but let's get into the video. So indicator 1, the market maker by Chicago 1. As you can see this, we're going to turn off. Well, I don't want to turn off 2 because I think after enough time that it'll recalibrate and start live again. So we're going to keep it, but just to preface, what you see right here is just through indicator 1. Okay. But together, like I said, you get the 1-2 punch together. Now with this is the default view. You're going to get these areas right here, which are orders, buyers and sellers position in the market. Like we talked about, there's liquidity everywhere, right? This is filtering, showing you what's the most important areas to look at within your personal chart. Okay. Now, like I said, there's a lot that goes into it. To briefly kind of to cover, I'm just going to keep turning it off and turning it on so that you guys can see the both in action. But these labels and these numbers that you see on my screen are telling you something very, very important. The bigger numbers right here are telling you the strength, right? They're single digit, double digit, triple digit, plus. Okay. Single digit are the weakest, double digit are the normal strength, and triple digit plus are the strongest, right? This eliminates the guesswork for seeing, okay, let's say there was, 200 contracts or 200 people trying to buy at NQ at this price, right? And then there's 200 contracts on gold, right? How do you know what's stronger? There's 200 contracts on ES of the same strength as 200 people trying to trade gold, right? All of the guesswork, the thinking that you have to do to try to compare what's strong on one ticker or one market and what's strong on another. You no longer have to do that. This simplifies all of the participants that are actually active in these areas. And you're now seeing a blanket rating system that's been optimized, fine-tuned across all markets so that now you're able to just view it and know, is it strong? Do you have confidence in it? Is it something you want to look at, or do you want to kind of look at something else, right? Of these, right? Obviously, if you were comparing all of these, then this 113, this is a triple digit level. This is something that you want to keep an eye on. As you can see, we've already delivered very nicely. I'm going to turn this back on just so it doesn't reset, right? But as you can see, we've already had a nice delivery from these buyers right here, right? For a reason. These, like I said, learning how the market works, these participants are getting filled. If the participants within this area are strong enough and they hold a price like they did here, we can infer that price is going to respect. And now, because the market fills these orders, absorption takes place. Now we're making that move up, right? I won't go on a tangent, but that is how the market works. So now you're able to see this, and the number under it, right? This diamond is signifying that it is a triple digit level. It'll be hollow if it's untouched. If it's filled, this tells you how many times orders have been filled in this area. Here, orders have been filled twice. This area has been tested twice. Okay. That's very, very important. If there's no number, no smaller number, that means that it's untouched. Okay. So it's fresh, looks good. You can usually get a good move. Depending, like I said, a lot of context goes into it, some discretion, but you obviously want to view these untouched areas, in a little bit more higher light, right? But once again, the bigger number is telling you the strength. You have single digit, double digit, and triple digit like you see right here. And then the smaller number, next to it or above or below it is going to be how many times orders have been filled or how many times the level's been tested. Okay. So you're able to see this by default on your current time frame. You're able to see all of this information and be able to see when price taps. Do you have a potential entry model? Will you be, depending on how many or what your model is right now, how this can add a confluence or confidence as well to your already existing model. There's so many ways you can use this. Like I said, I'll leave the model videos for separate videos and lessons for you guys. I want to just make this a guide video, setup, explaining the features, all that, because this is super, super powerful. Okay. So you have this available to you. Like I said, looking at sellers, looking at buyers position in the market. There's also going to be areas that if they're overlapping, like right here, it's going to tell you if you have overlapping or stacked participants on the order book. As you can see right here, this area has been tested once already. Orders have been filled once already, right? But if it's untouched, you're going to see a overlap label. It's going to look like this kind of, right? So if you see that, it means it's an untouched overlap. I'll try to point it out if I see it throughout this video. But once again, you have this available to you, and then you have these icons right here, which are telling you when significant participants in the market are getting stopped out. Super important. A lot of you guys already know people getting stopped out generates the necessary liquidity to be able to reverse the market, essentially, right? It's one of the things that is necessary for a reversal. This is not a buy and sell signal. What this is instead telling you is, okay, now a potential reversal or pullback in general should be on your radar. Or if let's say you're going short, right now, you're starting to see people getting stopped out, right, below price. If you see these icons below price, that means that we could get a potential pullback to the upside. Now you're on alert. Now you can see, maybe do you want to add that as a extra confluence to a entry model long for a reversal, or more so as a pause for you? Let's say you're going short. Let me pause on shorts until I see this play out, right? This reversal play out. Maybe I could look at shorts later. You know, however you want to use it, mix and match, but know how the market works first so you can actually understand and use this correctly. Once again, people get stopped out up here. As you can see, we pull back. People get stopped out down here, we pull back. People get stopped out up here, and we pull back and reverse. Right? This, you may be looking at this like, oh my God, I'm going to be rich. Please don't use it as a buy and sell signal. Use it as an extra confluence. Okay. This is super powerful, seeing where people are getting stopped out, because you can use this as an added confluence and confidence to your entry model. Okay. Down here, you have the true price comparison. What this essentially calculates is all active participants in the market, and it leaves out passive participants. Those are the ones responsible for absorption. Another key thing, which is pretty much interchangeable with people getting stopped out. There's a little bit more to it, right? But absorption is a key thing that's necessary for the market to reverse or even continue as well, right? Obviously, the market goes up and down, but it's another key part of how the market works. Now, to be able to read it, essentially, it looks like CVD. I know some people may look at this and be like, oh, that's just CVD. Compare it with CVD and you'll see it's different. But here, like I said, it's going to be telling you where the active participants were in the market. And it's not showing you passive participants on purpose, because that difference, if you see a difference in real price, then that difference is being seen as the difference between active and passive participants. The passive participants are now going to show up here if there's a difference. Okay. So for example, let's try to look for a practical example up here, maybe. Okay, cool. So right here, right? You see how we closed bearish in real price? Right here, with all the active participants in the market, we should have had a bullish close with all the active participants. But we see here, we had quite the opposite. We had a pretty bearish close. It was red. It was not a green or bullish close. That now tells you that we had bullish active participants, but we had a lot of passive participants that were strong enough to close bearish, meaning that with that difference, these participants absorbed a lot of buyers in the market. And now, as you can pair it together with people getting stopped out, however you want to do it, right? But this can obviously add a confluence that now you're seeing real prices now bearish. Now we can see a potential pullback to the downside, right? It's going to work every single time. Nothing is 100% known, but it adds that extra confluence for you, right? Like right here, you see we should have had a bearish close right here. As you can see, what did we have? We had a bullish close. So we had active sellers, and then we had passive participants strong enough to close as bullish. So we had a lot of absorption, sellers getting absorbed. So now we have that little pullback right here after this candle close. Okay. So that is what you can get with the market maker indicator 1. I hope this doesn't reset. It did reset. So just a side note, right? This is live. So if it's stagnant or turned off, it will need a reset, right? It's live, right? There's a lot of stuff that's stored, a lot of stuff that's going on in the back end to be able to tell you participants that are actually trading within each candle. Okay. Thankfully, I have others running right here to show the other visuals and stuff like that. But to now kind of go over a little bit more about this initial indicator, there is more settings before we move on to the second indicator. These are all the settings for indicator 1. Okay. Now you have the ability to change your presets. If you have a light background, you obviously want dark font like these letters right here, or these numbers. You can customize your own colors. The thing is that when you change it to these, it's like a preset, so you can't change anything else and have it reflect. So if you want to change and customize your own things, just say customize my own colors and just change it accordingly. Okay. You're able to see and customize what you want. If you forget what these numbers mean, then you want to turn on label wording. Okay. Order flow strength, that's the bigger number. Fill count, that's the smaller number, what we talked about. The median, if you want to see the median or midpoint of a area where buyers or sellers are active, then you can turn that on as well. Bringing level labels closer if you want a more zoomed in, which is how I do it, a zoomed in look, and you want these labels to move a little closer to price when you're zoomed in, so you don't have to zoom out. Then go ahead and do that. This is super, super powerful. like I said, this is something that I think everyone should be using, but you're able to see the higher time frame look within the lower time frame, so you don't have to keep switching back and forth. So you can add on all these major time frames showing you participants that are active. Like I said, there's liquidity everywhere. And generally across different time frames, you might be thinking, well, why are this different? Why is this area different than this, right? It's because you want to be able, you want to use this as confluence across all time frames. But the reason why data is displayed differently across different time frames is because we have custom thresholds on the back end. We have so much going on the back end that has been tested over years, okay? And it's for every single major market as well. So because of that, every single time frame will have different thresholds to be able to visualize, filter everything for you, simplify everything for you. And now you're able to see, okay, this accumulation of participants that you're seeing on the 5-minute time frame, right? Where you're seeing this area on the 5-minute is going to display that for you. On the 3 minutes, going to display it on the 15-minute, right? It's going to pop up on the right. And I'll show you guys on my personal setup because I have these turned on. It's going to show you all this information. It's super helpful for added confluence and agreement between different time frames all in one, okay? So you have that, bringing multi-time frame levels closer. These, once again, for the same purpose. Like we talked about, bringing things closer if you're zoomed in. Significant stop loss triggers. Those are these icons, as you can see right here. They have different pairs of icons. I just use one by default. The other 2 and 3 are like caution signs and like an explosion if you want to change it to it. True price comparison, that's what we just explained on the bottom. And then on top of that, you have the ability to hold yourself accountable. If you struggle with that, turn this on. Please, trade rules. You want to show your trade rules, and once you turn this on, excuse me, it's going to pop in the right corner, the right bottom right hand corner. Let's just show you guys what I'm talking about here. I think my camera, actually no, you guys should be able to see it. I thought I was blocking that part of the screen, but we're gonna turn this on. We're just gonna say stop being an idiot. Okay, so that's our first rule. Like I said, just for sake of example, just to show you guys what I'm talking about. We're going to let this reload here. It's going to pop up in the right hand corner. You have the ability to add different slots, and there's going to be dividers, stuff like that. You can change the coloring however you want to do it. But if you want to hold yourself accountable, then there should be no reason why you shouldn't be using this to have your rules in front of you to hold you accountable. Okay. So please use that if you need that added help. Okay. Those are all these are the default settings that are turned on and what's turned off, right? When you first load it in, customize it to how you want. I'll show you my personal setup and what it looks like with these multi-time frame levels in just a second. But moving on to, which we can turn this off, moving on to indicator 2, right? Now you're able to see participants within each and every candle. Okay. And on top of that, you're able to see live simplified order flow, seeing transactions taking place. The result of that, were buyers, sellers leading that transaction, right? Is the overall order flow in the market bullish? Is it bearish? What's going on in the back end? And then you're also going to see font that's going to tell you differences in price. Like, for example, if you see buyers really aggressive hitting the order book, but we're seeing the opposite reaction, right? Like, for example, we had sellers hitting the order book right here. We had a green font. What that means is that sellers were trying to push price down. They were unsuccessful. So that's why you see that font and vice versa, right? We'll get into that into a second. You also have your trade management assistant telling you specifically where price is likely to head if you're trying to catch the move higher or move lower, right? Let's say based on all the price action that's going on, let's say you want to use and see, okay, where should I take profit before my key level, right? Then around 9 points on NQ right now would be the likely target, okay? You also have this candlestick structure, right? Which this is one thing that you can visually look for to see for yourself, right? Just what the short-term trend is, but also are we actually with strength closing and making new highs or new lows, whatever. This is great for continuations. This is what I do. So it just takes that manual, like, okay, have we done this? Have we closed above these highs? Whatever the case may be, right? This is able to just do that work for you. If it's green, pointing up, bullish, down, and red is bearish, okay? And then once again, you have this view of where buyers and sellers are inside the market. Now, the important thing about this is that this is the simplified view by default, okay? This is just showing you where the most buyers and where the most sellers were within the candlestick. If you want to see every single part of the candlestick where buyers and sellers were positioned across the entire candlestick, that's when you want to use the in-depth view, which is this. It's a little bit more busy, a little bit more noise, right? But this is the same information, right? But you're seeing the more complex-ish part of it, right? A lot more you're seeing across every single, area in the candle. And then obviously, once again, these yellow labels are telling you where the most buyers were, where the most sellers were positioned, right? This is going to be super powerful. Okay, we'll go over in a second. But if you want that simplified view of just seeing where the most participants were positioned, as well as these little areas right here, which are called private auctions, which we'll get into in a second, then you're able to get this view. Okay, once again, you're able to see where sellers are positioned and where buyers are positioned the most within a candle. Get that simplified view. If you want this in-depth view, then you can change it to the in-depth mode. Right here, we are in in-depth mode. If you go right here, it basically tells you everything that you're going to be able to see across each mode to customize it to how you want to understand or view the market. If you want to see that in-depth mode, go ahead. If you want that simplified view, go ahead. Ultra simplified is just what you're seeing right here, just without these private auction lines. So you're only seeing the max buyers and sellers. Okay, just FYI. So this is how you can, like I said, you can play around with it, test it, do what you need to do to make sure you're comfortable with everything. But as you can see, you're seeing all this information. You have your engine mode within here, which is basically the distinction between, well, let me just pop this up here, the live engine and then the alternate engine as well. Excuse me. So live, you're able to get the live data populating on your screen, right? It's available to all TradingView plans, okay? But the only drawback with that is that you can't use it in replay mode, okay? So, and regardless, anyways, it's better to forward test this anyways in the market. Back testing is great, but forward testing is the most powerful because you're able to see things happen in live markets. So that's the only drawback. And then obviously with the alternate, right, you're seeing that same information, but the thing is that it's available for premium plans and higher because it allows, like that platform gate allows more data storage, and now it's usable in replay mode to an extent, right? So like I said, don't feel the need to upgrade your TradingView plan. This is just for people who happen to have premium and higher, right? But by default, it is in the live engine, right? That's what my choice, what I use everything. And I already have premium anyways. But yeah, so you have all of this information available to you. This is the simplified view, like right here, how you can understand all of these candlesticks and all this information, these red dots, right? You're seeing that there's a lot of sellers active here. There's a lot of buyers active here, right? You're able to see all this information. It's super powerful how you can use this. One hint that I'm going to give to you guys is looking at this information at highs and lows in the market. I know we reloaded, but you can go back and see in the beginning of the video when I had it running for a while before the video started, you can see what I'm talking about, right? These areas are adaptive. They will get bigger. The more participants and buyers that are hitting the order book, the more sellers that are hitting the order book, you're able to see that in live time. Right now, it's Asia session. It's 9:30 at night, so it's a little slow. So therefore, you're seeing smaller areas or smaller levels, smaller bubbles because the participants are on the lower side. Okay, completely normal. But the one hint that I was going to give you guys is that at lows, right? Remember, learning how the market works, your mind is going to be blown, right? You can look at my YouTube channel, my other videos talking about how the market works. I talk about this every single day in my live stream in the Discord, right? But at lows, you're going to see like 90% of the time, you're going to be seeing sellers getting trapped at lows. What that means is that sellers were not rewarded. We had the most sellers within this candle trading here, and we couldn't get a close below. What that means is that they're offside now, right? These buyers supported the close, right? Because we had the close above buyers. So they supported the close. But these sellers are now trapped. When you see this at these lows, this is where now you're going to see a pattern. Okay, I'm just going to give you all that hint. At highs, right, I'll show you guys on the in-depth mode. Majority of highs, right, like we can't really tell this is a major high because we've only pulled back a little bit. We kind of had trapped buyers almost, right? But let's look at an actual high that was made right here, an established high. You're going to see the opposite. You're going to see buyers get trapped. They attempted to push price here or higher. They were unsuccessful. We closed below. Sellers were the most active here, and they supported the close because we closed below. At highs, major highs in the market, you're going to see this pattern a lot. You're going to see the market pull back. At lows, you're going to see the opposite, right? You have these sellers. You have these sellers. You're going to see these buyers support the close above it, right? So on and so forth, right? You're going to see this a lot of times within the market in general, but just look at lows and look at highs. Sellers trapped in the buying wick. Sellers trapped in the buying wick, right? You see that pullback. Buyers trapped in the selling wick. The market pulls back, right? Just notice these. Like I said, I'm not even cherry picking. I'm just looking at what's happened in the last hour, right? Since I started this video. Buyers trapped in the selling wick. Market moves down, Right here, we had more so this, I mean, we can kind of categorize this entire area as these highs, but we had buyers trapped here, sellers rewarding the market, and so on and so forth, right? The lows of these candles, we had sellers getting trapped, right? You guys are getting what I'm saying, right? This is super, super powerful, and it's just completely mind-blowing in your trading, okay? So with that being said, you're able to see this information both in Simplified and the in-depth view, right? The yellow labels are the max, these bubbles are the max. And then these right here are called private auctions. This is a deep inside order flow, okay? It may seem like a lot's going on. This is more gives you that minuscule zoomed in look as to where these more minuscule moves are happening and coming from in the market. Essentially, to kind of explain it as simply as I can, it's kind of hard to explain, but these are areas that are being detected when there's a lot of big participants that are entering the market, but behind closed doors. Normal people that are looking at reading order flow, they're not able to see these transactions at first. And then they will hit the order book later on after the transaction has happened, but a little while after, right? Now, when these things are detected, usually, as you can see, when the market pulls back into them, you're going to see them revisit, right? You're going to see these transactions get respected, and we're going to see price respect and move up. Obviously, within these areas right here, you kind of want to sit back, be like, okay, we're kind of ranging. We have a lot here to get through. Where are we going to break out? Stuff like that. This is super, super important. I'll have more lessons on each of these factors and things like that. This seems confusing, but this is a great reference to be able to use. I use these in my continuations. This is a great reference point to be able to see where these more minuscule moves in the market are coming from, right? We had this bearish private auction right here. After this close, the market pulled back right here, and now we're dumping, right? We already respected this one, right? So on and so forth. We're starting to respect this one. We just tapped it. You're seeing it in live time, right? All this information is super, super important, being able to see all this, both in depth, as you can see, right? Or in the simplified version as well, okay? Like I said, you can use it to scalp. You can use it to see, okay, did we respect? You want to wait for these closes as well, or you can set limit orders however you want to, right? But you're able to see live and price action, what's going on in real time. You can see these moves, this struggle that we're seeing is coming from this area right here, right? Who knows what's going to happen next? Are we actually going to break through in the next 8 seconds? Now, are we going to hold it in the next 6 seconds? Who knows, right? But you're seeing why. You're seeing the why behind everything going on in the market. That's why this composite tool is so, so powerful, okay? This is the in-depth view like we talked about. If you want to see it zoomed out, looks like a lot's happening, but that's normal. That's why you have the option for the simplified view if you want. And now, going back to just in general, we talked about what's going on in the dashboard already, the trade management assistant, the candlestick structure. We talked about all this already. That's what you can expect and use with the Market Maker 2. Now, going on to my personal setup, this is what I'm personally using day to day. I do, right now I've been using the simplified version or simplified view, but I will be kind of looking at the in-depth. I kind of prefer the in-depth, but just to show you just a more simple view, this is what my setup looks like. Looks like a lot going on. I can understand everything like this. I can keep 2 panes and windows on my personal chart, but here, this is what I'm looking at, right? I'm trading ES and NQ. I trade gold as well, but ES and NQ are what I'm trading majority of the time, right? This is my view. I have my current, let me turn this off right now. I have my current time frame areas, levels, areas of interest where buyers and sellers are at right here on the left, or where price is trading right here, and then to the right, this separation that you're seeing is the multi-time frame view that I was talking about. Is really powerful, that everybody should be using. So you're able to see that, and you're able to see what's going on collectively across different time frames, right? You're already seeing sellers were delivering from this area. We had a higher time frame confluence as well, right? You can create potential reversal entry model based off of things like that, right? Depending on what you test, what you notice, patterns you notice, things you want to capitalize on, things like that. I'll release my model videos later on, so stay tuned for those. But like I said, this is my personal setup, how I want to view the market. I've kind of moved the dashboard a little bit because when I'm zoomed in, like I said, I'm going to be zoomed in like this. I want to see what's going on in each candle, right? So therefore, I want to see these labels, and so I kind of moved the dashboard a little down. But to show you guys my personal settings in the market right here, we're gonna go right here. This is my personal settings toolkit, if you will. What I have checked on, what I have checked off. If you want to pause this, go right ahead. If you want to take a look at this, copy mine, go right ahead. But the goal is we made this as customizable as possible for everybody and their personal preferences, what they like, what they don't like, right? To be as customizable as possible. So this is what I have. Like I said, if you want to pause it wherever you want to, right? Hopefully I stayed long enough for you to see. And then for the Market Maker 2, these are my personal settings. Like I said, I will be switching back to in-depth, but I'm just showing you guys simplified right now just to give you the simple view. But everything else, like I said, that I have on personally. If you want to pause, go right ahead. If you need to pause to copy, whatever, go right ahead. Those are my personal settings and what I look for on a day-to-day basis and how I view the market. This is my personal setup. Okay. And that's all there is to it. This is a 32-minute video. I'm going to try to speed up my voice. So hopefully it'll be less than that, maybe, I hope. But like I said, to be able to claim this will be in the links below. The first link is going to be full access to the community with the indicator as the indicator bundle as the free add-on. With that, you're going to get weekly, you're going to daily live trading with me and my team, seeing live entries, live exits. You're going to be able to ask any and all questions. It's an open VC. It's not like you are muted all the time, right? You can choose to be, right? You have that access. You have Q&As, mentorships, the whole video recorded library, right? You're going to get all this information, direct access to the creator, myself, and the team, all of our models, how we trade day in and day out. So if you kind of struggle, if this is kind of daunting for you and you want that direct access to boost your profitability, Limitless Plus is for you. First link down below. Below that is going to be just the market maker indicator bundle where you're going to get these two indicators. If you just want that, you don't want the community, you don't want live trading. So we hope to see you inside. Welcome to the community if you choose to be with us. And I hope that this tool really opens your eyes to see how the market truly works. And now you're really going to see the why behind every single move in the market. So welcome on board if you choose to join us, and I'll see you on the next video.